around talking about which Halloween movies we had seen, and I think we were with John.
Yeah, we had a technical glitch here. We've been having some problems tonight with some of this. I don't know. We got some new wires, and the wires aren't quite working out the way I would hope. Aaron, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Anyway, what we were saying before we had a problem was that I've seen them all up through H2, whatever it was. If I was going to rank them, of course, Halloween, I would say out of the ones that were my all time favorite is Halloween 2. I know Halloween is like the big one, the big start of it, but Halloween 2 really, I guess, resonated with me. I really enjoyed Halloween 2. I like it the best. Curse of Michael Myers, of course, is you're starting to get down to that end of the franchise a little bit as far as like it just started running out of steam. It sort of got to the point it was just like the Friday the 13th movies where
They were just making it to make
just
one.
making to
Yeah.
make one. And then you get to have when you get to Jason X or whatever it was where he's flying around in space. That's kind of what it was to
saw
me.
that
But
one.
that's where I would rank them. My first number one is Halloween 2 as best. The whatever it was, Curse of Michael Myers is probably the last one.
I've seen Halloween 1 and 2, and then I saw Halloween 6 at a youth group outing, which is beyond me that we watched Halloween. Yeah, true story. And
Of all the movies to watch, you know what? These kids would love a horror film that has a what's his name, shock jock in it.
yeah.
Does he kill the shock jock?
I think, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he had to. He had to kill everybody.
And then Halloween, I saw Halloween H2O. That was right in those years where I was like watching every movie every week at the theater.
Was that during your dark times?
Yeah.
During the dark
I
times? Yeah.
evidently have a lot of those recently in my life. And then that's it, I think. I don't think I saw any of the other ones. Aaron, what about you?
I saw Halloween 6 at a youth outing, and that was it.
Who let you all watch a Halloween? Okay, I got to know.
I'll tell you off air.
Oh, okay.
I was a little confused.
She was
I had never
she
seen
was,
the Halloween movie.
She was really attractive.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, gotcha.
So I was a little confused, but I have read every Wikipedia entry on every Halloween movie, so I'm a subject matter expert.
I'm
on
glad that
Halloween.
I did not like just dream that up that I saw that at a youth act.
Okay, so what was it like? Okay, so let me get the on.
Was it at church or was it outside of church?
No, it was at their house.
I'm trying
okay,
to.
so it was like an afterglow type situation.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around the scenario. How did this go? That it's like, okay, everybody, we got.
Was their copy of Basic Instinct broken or something? Or
we did we go eat before or bowling or something?
Either
right?
that or a Ghost Run or Danger Run, something.
Yeah, and
Haunted
then-
That's
House
still
or
not
something.
acceptable.
So
for youth
y'all,
group outing,
y'all
yeah.
went back and y'all sat around on the floor and like, okay, we're going to read this out of Our Daily Bread,
Yeah.
and then it was like, all right,
I don't think there was a devotional that
all right,
night.
it's over. Halloween
No.
6, let's
And-
do it.
And I kept saying I didn't want to watch it, and they kept getting mad at me.
Yeah.
Aaron,
And,
quit being a wuss. Watch this movie. Bless God.
in the name of Jesus, let's watch that.
That sounds like something that you'd see on the Babylon Bee.
Youth outing. Watch
Youth
his
group, youth group horrified being made to watch Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers before devotional.
Wow. Was Brian Pate there?
I don't know.
He would have put a stop to that nonsense.
No, he might have been there.
He may have been. I don't know.
I can see him saying,
know.
sick 'em, we ain't watching this.
Brian been like, all right.
I've got a copy of Aladdin in my car. Let's watch that instead.
Brian probably wouldn't have watched it either. If you saw the way he responded when we watched it that one night, it's the first time I've ever heard him cuss.
Oh, he dropped it. I was like, whoa. Startled me more than the movie. All right, Charlie, lay it on us.
What part? The
No, all of them. Have you seen all of them?
I have seen them all, yes.
How many is there?
There's 10.
How many are there? Is there?
How many timelines are there?
Currently, there's before this one comes out, there are 2 timelines.
All right.
There are the original 8 that they put out, and then there are the 2 Rob Zombie remakes, which are different timelines. Well, there's one Rob Zombie remake, and then the sequel that he made, which is just one of the worst pieces of cinema ever created. The fact that Michael Myers owns a white horse and rides it around the forest is one of the stupidest things. Oh yeah, I'm not making that
Does
up.
the
but he's-
horse wear a mask also?
No, and his half is it's a half mask. It has been since he was shot in the face. Half of his mask is missing, but
The
his
horse?
face is there.
No, I'm confused. That was-
Michael Myers.
No, the horse
yeah.
doesn't have a mask.
Well, because when you first started talking about it, I mean, no disrespect, but when you said that Michael Myers was riding a horse, I kind of quit listening for a couple seconds, and now I'm back into it.
You were just envisioning.
The horse doesn't have a mask, nor does it have a name.
Okay, because didn't you say he was riding the horse?
Does
and
he have a saddle?
No, bareback.
Oh my gosh!
Ooh, I bet you that was tough.
Not
He's
when
a
you're Mike
monster.
Myers.
Well, and actually, in this series, Michael Myers is played by Sabretooth from the X-Men, the original X-Men film.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Tyler Maine.
Yep.
He probably had that horse
He's a
clenched,
he's
man.
a
He's like,
wrestler, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
was the horse like, was he clenching it with his thighs? He's like,
I didn't pay that much
"Oh."
attention to his thighs. so.
Pause, zoom in, rewind.
I didn't know. You got me intrigued now that we're talking about.
Enhance.
Well, he also sees visions of his dead mother and visions of himself as a child calling him into the forest as he's riding his horse.
Did he ride the horse like with one hand behind him, like
Possibly.
where, like that?
I've kind of blocked it out of my memory a little bit.
That kinda-
so-
All he remembers is there's a white horse.
Okay, well, okay.
That's all I remember.
Sorry,
There's
I
a
didn't-
white horse and the teacher from the head of the class is in it.
Oh,
There's also Dr. Johnny Fever from
oh yeah,
from
yeah,
WK.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
He's awesome.
All right.
So I've seen all 10 of them, and I
So-
have seen several of them multiple times.
Give us a breakdown of rankings. Worst to best or best to worst, whatever works for you.
Worst for me is Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. as
Oh,
we
I was
just
like,
discussed.
oh,
No,
Re-
Rob
refer
Zombie.
to it as Halloween White Horse.
Michael Myers and the Curse of the White Horse. Number 9 would be Halloween Resurrection with Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks. That's the one where they have they have a reality television show in the Myers house.
Tyra Banks.
And Busta Rhymes refers to it not as a reality show, but Dangutainment. And he says the phrase Dangutainment roughly 700 times. There's also a scene where there's this girl, and she's one of our heroine, our survivor girl. She is.
There's heroin.
There had to have been a lot of it when they made this
Wow.
movie.
Wow.
She has a.
The horse was on heroin.
She has a.
That's why it was what?
She has a pen pal on AOL.
Instant
It's
Messenger,
secretly in love with her, even though he's much younger than her.
of course.
And he is live streaming Dangutainment at a party where he's dressed as John Travolta from Pulp Fiction, and he has to help lead her out via the interwebs. It's just god awful. There's a scene where
I kind of
Busta
feel like I
Rhymes-
want to watch that.
Yeah, now you got me intrigued.
Busta Rhymes karate kicks.
Can we start a new podcast called Dangutainment?
That's what all the episodes in the month of October are going to be called. They're Dangutainment.
Hey, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Didn't they make a big deal about Jamie Lee Curtis coming back at H2O? Didn't they kill her off at the very beginning of
Yes,
Resurrection?
So at the beginning of Resurrection, we find out that Laurie did not, in fact, chop Michael Myers' head off.
at the end of H2O.
Yeah, at the end of H2O, she actually chops the head off a paramedic that Michael Myers crushes his windpipe so he can't talk and puts his mask on him.
Oh, but he's shorter, right?
Oh.
Well, he's laying. The ambulance has crashed, and he's laying there, and he reaches his hand out.
I feel like that's almost the exact plot line to one of the Mission Impossible movies.
probably so.
And-
Change the
yeah.
face.
And it's going to be an awesome podcast when one of your possible hashtags is Busta Rhymes.
Hashtag Dangutainment.
Yeah. So she
Make sure
she
you spell
goes
that
and
right.
she gets put in
Yeah.
an insane asylum because she killed a random stranger. In the first 5 minutes, Michael throws her off the top of a roof and kills her. Number 8 would be now this list is one from the Nerdist, and I'm kind of rearranging it, so I'm going to change it a little bit.
Is it as good as my Jedi list at one time?
It's
It doesn't
No,
list,
it
it
is good
doesn't
as
list,
well.
it doesn't
Okay.
list things multiple times.
That's when I quit. That's when I quit doing all this stuff. When I'll just sit behind the board.
number 8 would be Halloween: The Revenge of Michael Myers, or no, sorry, number 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. That's the sequel. That's when we find out that he was brought back by a cult from the dead. Yeah, there's a cult involved, and they brought him back. That's why he's the spirit of Sam Hain, and he's gonna kill end the world and bring it back in Satan's vision and all this stuff, and it's just god awful. Let's see, what am I in? I'm number 7 now. Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. I kind of agree with that, but I do love that film, and here's the reason: it's so bad, it's good. This is, of course, the one you guys saw at youth group. But what I love about it is it's Paul Rudd's first movie.
He was in that,
It was
wasn't
his
he?
first movie.
Yeah.
And the whole time he uses this really weird accent where he's trying to mimic Dr. Loomis, who's British, who doesn't have a British accent in this, but he's got some weird accent going on. And the whole time Paul Rudd's talking like this the whole time. I was there when Michael killed those gals. He was the little.
I do remember that.
He was Tommy Doyle, the little boy from the first one. So it also gets more into the cult. Of course, it's the sequel to number 5, with it being number 6. But it's ridiculous and stupid and hilarious, and it's one of my favorites. Let's see.
Evidently, it was one of the youth leaders' favorites.
Yeah.
It's probably the cleanest.
The next would be Return of Michael Myers, number 4. That's the one where he comes back after Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. This one stars Michael Myers' his little niece, who is also psychotic and trying to kill everybody too. Eventually, we find out at the end of the film. It's good to have that refresher on Michael Myers after what was Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. Next would be, in my list, that number 4 would be Rob Zombie's Halloween. I really enjoyed that film. A lot of people didn't like it. What's interesting to me is they spend so much time in the psychiatric hospital, and that's where I work. Not the one that Michael Myers is housed in, but in a psychiatric hospital. I thought Rob Zombie did a great job. He originally had planned on having just one Halloween film. Like at the end of the film, when she blows his head off, that's it. He's dead. But they said, if you want to make any more movies for New Line, you're going to make another Halloween film. And he made the god-awful Michael Myers on a Horse film. Number 3 would be, for me, Halloween 2. The original Halloween 2. I love that movie. It's great. Originally, John Carpenter wrote one script. Halloween 1 and 2 was one film, but he realized he couldn't make that long of a film or cut out things that he needed to. But it's a great, it's a great horror film. It's more of a slasher film than the first one is, even though Halloween is considered to be the first slasher movie. Halloween 2 really is more what we think of as a modern slasher film. Number 2 for me is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. That's not really a Halloween movie. Yes, it is.
It's a very good movie.
If it was not Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, it would be considered one of the best horror films.
I don't really know anything about that movie.
This one doesn't have Michael Myers in it. It's about the Silver Shamrock toy company who makes these masks at Halloween, and everybody wants these masks. There's all these commercials for the masks. What they're trying to do, though, is they're trying to kill all the children of the world, because at Halloween, when there's a video they're going to play at 7:00 Eastern time, and it's going to make the kids' heads turn into snakes and spiders and kill them all.
What?
As a sacrifice on Halloween.
It was the festival of Samhain, and they were going to have a great sacrifice.
Now you got to remember, this is the '80s, so the fact that there's
true.
Irish witches, Irish warlocks, kind of makes sense.
Get it right, Warlock.
There's also like cyborg people but they're also made out of they're German and they're made out of like clockwork. Yeah, I'm not saying it's
like early steampunk.
kind of, yeah.
That was the only part. I think that was the part of the movie that didn't make it great for me. Was the clockwork people? That was kind of lame.
I like the whole thing. It's with what 80. Let's see, what year was this?
I would say 80,
Well, I have a list here in front of me. I could just look at
78, 79, 80, 81 maybe 82. I say that it'd be like 87.
Come on, list.
Somewhere along in there.
82. And then, of course, number 1 is the original John Carpenter's Halloween. As I just said, it is, the first slasher film, but it's one of the few movies of that genre where what's more scary is not what you see, it's what you don't.
Wow. I'm sorry, recording.
You're going to have to edit that
Yeah,
out.
I got to do some real edits on this one.
We're going to have to give John a salary for this week's episode.
I can't wait for John to forget to edit something.
Oh, I did a few weeks ago.
John, what?
I almost did a few weeks ago.
What?
Forget to edit something.
Forget to edit something, and it was.
Hey, welcome back to the Five Live Bears.
We're still recording while we're talking.
It's been an interesting intermission.
Holy crap.
If you took a break with us, I hope you weren't with us.
No, that'll be.
Thank God we don't live stream.
Wow.
live stream, one of us would end up dead one week.
One of us?
I mean,
It'd just
have you seen me fight? I'm going to be the one that's dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's gonna be just Brian down here, Brian and Carla.
Welcome back. We are talking about Halloween in the summer, the first part of the show, which I'm assuming you listened to after I was mocked profusely last podcast. I'm assuming you listened to.
Well, I mean, come on, man. I mean, who starts a
I'm
podcast
just
in the
telling
summer?
you, maybe there's this group of people that are
Listen
out
to it
there.
backwards.
Yeah. Anyways, we broke down the Halloween franchise. Charlie really gave us a good description of all the movies, including one where Mike Myers rode on a white stallion. It was insane.
Have you seen? I know you have. Baby Driver.
No, I haven't.
That's surprising.
I
think
really
you-
wanted to.
Well, there's one scene where
is it good?
Yes, it's very good.
Okay.
Well, would everybody that watches this podcast or is even on this podcast would like? No. Is it what you would like? Yes. It's kind of that Tarantino-esque.
I'll take that.
That's
anymore.
no. That's. I mean, what you described Hotel Artemis.
Yeah.
It's kind of actually what you were looking for that.
Okay.
But there's a scene where they all have to get Michael Myers mask. They're dressing as Michael Myers, and
Yeah.
the dude goes out and buys the mask for everybody who's assigned that job, and he gets Austin Power masks. And then next is a extremely violent scene.
Oh well, I'll
But it-
look forward to
Directed
it.
by Edgar Wright, who
Yeah.
you love, Scott Pilgrim.
You know,
so-
what would have been a great Easter egg on the one with the horse is if the horse
Horses.
if the horse had been wearing one of them pumpkin masks from Season of the Witch.
Or if the horse had actually been Mike Myers from Wayne's World, and
I
Austin
was
Powers.
thinking if Mini-Me was riding on the back of the horse with it.
Or if Michael Myers had a mini-me.
Or if Michael Myers and Michael Myers had wound up in a fight.
Oh, I got my money on Mike Myers.
We are off the
But
rails.
Michael Myers and Mike Myers' character from How I Married an Axe Murderer's sister-in-law who tried to kill him.
Oh,
I
you know,
mean-
I watched 90% of that movie and never finished it. Weird.
All right, the trailer.
Anyways, the trailer for the new Halloween 2018 movie is out, and I don't know if we would call it a reboot of sorts, but it also is picking up off of the Halloween movies. I'm going to let Charlie take it away and really kind of break down what direction it's going.
It's the direct sequel to the original 1978 Halloween. It's the direct sequel. There is no... the only movie they're recognizing is the original Halloween. 2 through 10 or 2 through 7 or 8 are gone. The two Rob Zombie films, of course, are gone because they're a separate timeline. Also,
So even though 2 is meant to be one giant movie with one, they're taking it away.
right. The thing is that it takes place where at the end of the film, Dr. Loomis shoots Michael Myers 6 times. He goes to find the body and it's gone.
Right.
Okay, so this is where it takes place after that. Apparently, they catch Michael Myers, put him in a maximum security prison. What's interesting about the film, though, is that it was written by Danny McBride from Eastbound and Down and his writing partner and the director of the film Your Highness. So when I heard that they were writing...
I thought you were going to say James Franco for a second.
Well, when I heard that they were writing this film, I'm like, oh, this is going to be dumb. But they went to... John Carpenter's the one that announced the film. They let him announce that it's going to be made. They went to John Carpenter and said, here's the script. We want your blessing to make this film. And John Carpenter said that it's the best thing anybody's done with Halloween since him. Yes, he's had nothing... He said the only thing about Halloween that he likes is getting a paycheck. He's not watched any of them since 3. He doesn't care because he's a bitter old man. But he not only gave his blessing, but he offered to make the music for it. Because, of course, John Carpenter's kind of known for doing the music for all his films, for better or for worse. So that's interesting, too, that not only did they have his blessing, but he wants to be involved in a Halloween film for the first time since 1982.
That's interesting. So they lock him up in maximum prison, and then it goes from there.
A documentary team from England, because we all know the Brits ruin everything, come to visit him, and they bring him his mask. In the trailer, there's a scene where so they're going to talk to him, and it's this giant open courtyard that's covered in concrete, and he's in the middle in this giant taped off square, and he's probably a good 20 feet from everybody else. There's a guard with a dog. There is a gentleman that looks to be criminally insane, and then another gentleman that looks to be handicapped. He's in a wheelchair and looks to have some sort of physical disability. So they're like, we want to talk to you about that night 40 years ago, Michael, and he doesn't respond to him. And he's like, well, maybe you'll respond to this, and he pulls out the mask. Well, the next thing we see is that the documentary filmmakers are in this gas station, and he breaks out of prison. He tracks them down at a gas station. I don't know if he's learned how to use GPS or what. He kills the dude, steals the jumpsuit because you got to have the jumpsuit. Apparently, he rips all of his teeth out of his head. Ow. Yeah. And then gets his mask back. And Laurie Strode says, I've been praying for this day for 40 years. And the cop goes, why is that? She goes, because I want to kill him. So apparently she has become Linda Hamilton from Terminator 2. She lives in this massive property that has like hidden passageways in it and stuff. Like there's a scene where she pushes a button and the island in the kitchen moves away, and she's got this big storage of guns and stuff, and she's shooting various rifles at dummies throughout her property. She's become completely lost her mind.
She's almost as insane as Michael Myers is.
Pretty much that's where they're going with this. At one point in the trailer, there's the group of kids walking around the streets of Haddonfield, which is the town that it's set in. And this girl says, isn't like that Michael Myers guy like your uncle or something? And the girl goes, oh, that's just something they made up. So theoretically, he might not be Laurie's brother. That just might have been a rumor. We don't know if that's like a swerve on their part or something they're saying in the trailer. Who knows? But yeah, apparently the film is that Michael gets out to kill Laurie, and she wants to kill him first. Aaron said in the group chat that it has a scene that like legitimately scared him, and I agree with him. The very end scene of the trailer is really scary.
Scene. Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to it. It's the film I'm looking forward to most this year. Not just because I was disappointed by Infinity War, but even before that, it looks amazing. It's done by Blumhouse, who hasn't made a really terrible film, especially in the horror genre. They made a lot of things I wouldn't see. Like
what they make?
Oh, they did. They did the Purge films. They did Get Out. They did The Haunting and all those films.
Yeah.
So maybe not things that I would necessarily watch, but they've made
I've seen most of those. Those are good. I mean, they're well made.
Right, well made films for the genre. So apparently that's the thing that Jason Blum, who owns Blumhouse, has said, that his thing was that there's plenty of movies out there that people are making for $2 million. And then there's movies people are making for hundreds of millions of dollars. Blumhouse seeks to make $50 million films, which in the grand scheme of things is a lot of money, but you have to rely more on story than special effects and stuff like that. Right. So,
which when it comes to Halloween movie, that's what you want.
Yeah, you don't need special effects.
I don't. The thing about Halloween, like we talk about the original Halloween, is it's more to me. I mean, of course, it's got him in it throughout, but I would consider it almost to be more of along the lines of a psychological thriller,
right?
Than it would be what we call a cut and slash or a slasher movie, like you see with Halloween 2, or especially when you get into the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Streets from that same era.
Yeah.
So that's what made it scary, though. And that last scene you're all talking about, because y'all were talking about it on the Bear Chat, and I hadn't watched the trailer yet, and so I got on there and watched it. Yeah, you're right. That's pretty creepy there at the end when he's in the closet and she's trying to shut the door.
Yeah.
And he pushes it open. That's it's a little.
I think Aaron wanted to say something, but he might be having some technical difficulty. Aaron, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron. I'm sorry. We're having all types of.
Go ahead, Aaron. What were you saying?
Crazy stuff today.
That's cool. I kept trying to interrupt Charlie, asking about are they going to be brother and sister in this one, and I don't know if y'all couldn't hear me or whatever.
No, like I said, we're getting some kind of feedback tonight. It's weird.
All right, that's cool.
Right. So the assumption is they're brother and sister, but you said there was like a swerve that maybe they're not, right?
One of the characters is a teenager, and she says that that's a lie, that he's not related to their family, but maybe she was lied to. Maybe that is the truth. Maybe he's not related to him. Who knows?
But see, to me, I mean, from my standpoint, I that kind of being someone who has seen it and remember watching, and I don't want to say I'm a super fan of Halloween, but that was what the appeal was. And now that I've gotten older and have seen it again, because it's always on Sci-Fi or TBS during the Halloween season, is the ideal of that being her brother. Mm-hmm. And that's what made it cool back in the day. Was you got this little kid who grows up because he kills at the beginning of Halloween. He kills somebody. I can't remember somebody who's in the house.
Like when he's a kid,
Yeah,
he's the older sister.
yeah, he kills the older sister and they send him to a mental institution, and then he comes back to finish the job, and that's what made that so appealing. Because Halloween and Halloween 2, because Loomis shoots him, he falls off, he disappears, and then we go right into Halloween 2, and he continues until Loomis blows themselves up. But that was what was always cool to me. So if they flip it around to where it's outside of what I would consider to be canon on the first film, then that's going to really bother me if they do a lot of this switching baiting.
I don't think that's something that John Carpenter would approve of. Maybe I'm wrong, but also you got to think in horror films, there's usually at least 5 teenagers, and only one isn't dumber than a box of rocks.
And it could be that maybe they're just going to kind of throw that in there, that just to plant that seed of doubt of maybe they're not brother and sister. And I mean, they turn out still to be brother and sister, but just to kind of change it up, just to kind of mess with you a little bit.
Well, and that's what I'm hoping they do. Is this is one of them type things where it comes back and that girl, the teenager's like, "What? Really? He is? He's my uncle." Blah 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 blah.
Great uncle at this point.
Yeah.
There's a great supporting cast too. Judy Greer, who is an actress that's in everything possible.
Every chick flick movie.
Comedies,
Arrested Development.
all kinds of. Yeah, she was
She in Jurassic World
No, that's
as the divorcing parent.
yeah.
to the
She
kids.
is. You're right. She is in Jurassic World.
She's Job's assistant. That's like cross-eyed.
Take your glasses.
Michael's assistant.
Yeah.
No,
Is it? I think Kitty.
It's the dad's
Oh, there you
assistant.
go, yeah.
Kitty.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
she's
plays
Kitty.
Kitty. Yeah.
Turn the lights out. Oh no. Just
There's so many scenes. Can't even talk about it.
also a character actor that I've loved in many, many things, and I'm going to say, I can't think of his. Oh, there he is. Toby Huss, who was in one of our all-time favorite children's shows, The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
who is he?
Oh, he's the superhero guy.
Artie?
Yeah, he's Artie.
Artie.
He's
So-
the strongest man
Yeah,
in the world.
I hope that's the character he plays in this film. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think
Little Viking.
that'd be great if the only thing that can defeat Michael Myers is Pete and Artie.
Don't get Aaron started on Pete and Pete. Like it's a passion of Aaron's.
I'm surprised you don't have a tattoo of Petunia on your arm.
Oh man, that's a great idea.
That's Aaron's midlife crisis.
Like, right. Tim, I'm gonna send you a picture. Check this out. Oh,
And he's
my.
dyed his hair red.
He's wearing a Mr. Tasty mask. Ooh, what if in the movie Mike Myers has a final face-off with Mr. Tasty?
Oh man.
Michael Myers that thing where he cocks his head sideways and looks at him. Yeah.
Mr. Tasty just holds up an ice cream cone.
They ride off on a horse together.
Yeah, that is one of the more scary scenes. Not Mr. Tasty, but in the original Halloween when he kills the guy by stabbing him to the wall, like, impaling him to the wall with the knife, and stands there and just looks at the dead body like it's nothing.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the Halloween films. Well, up until a certain point, that was what made them scary. Jason Voorhees was just crazy and brutal and a zombie. Freddy Krueger was evil and comical. Pinhead was legitimately Satan. Michael Myers was just an animal, like as Dr. Loomis said, pure evil. He wasn't trying to be mean. He just had a desire and a necessity to kill these teenagers.
But the interesting thing about it was when you see this in the old one, because they basically remake a scene in the trailers you see in the original one where that kid runs into him on Halloween. I guess that's supposed to be Halloween night.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do anything. He doesn't kill that kid. It's not. The thing about Michael Myers, which always scared or was always so creepy to me, was it wasn't indiscriminate murder. There was always logic to what he was doing.
Not to get super deep right now, and Tim, we need your input on this because you're working church.
Okay.
But that's the thing is a lot of horror films.
Unsure where you were going to go there.
I know. A lot of I legitimately want your input on this. A lot of horror films, the villain are killing kids that are old enough to know they shouldn't be sinning. Like that's the reason that the 6-year-old Michael Myers killed his sister because she was going out with her boyfriend and being inappropriate over the phone. That's the reason he killed Laurie Strode's friends because they were having sex. That's the reason that he had to kill his sister Laurie as well, is because she was talking about meeting a boy. And like you said, he didn't kill the little kid because the kid was innocent. He didn't kill the other, like Tommy Doyle and the other kid that she was trying to babysit. He was just trying to kill these sinners.
Well, I mean,
It's very puritanical.
It's to really go cliche here. It's the scream logic that that Randy introduces. If you want to survive a horror movie, you got to do the three things. You don't want to,
No
say
drugs or
I'll
alcohol.
Say I'll be right back and stay a virgin. It's kind of I think in some ways, in those type movies, there has to be a justification of the bad guy being a bad guy. It's hard for them to justify just a killer going in and killing perfectly innocent people.
Have you seen The Strangers?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's the thing that makes that film scary. Is the reason that they're killing them is because they're home.
right.
That
that movie creeps me
I
out.
won't
man.
watch it.
Oh
It's
my
one of
gosh.
those films that
I watched it in a house in the middle of the woods and was petrified.
was it a youth group activity?
Might as well have been.
Well, it boils back. What it all does, and like you're talking about the morality tale of it, is it goes back to that Puritan morality tale of the anti-sex before marriage, the
Drugs,
the
alcohol.
drugs,
I mean,
the-
it's almost like a prosperity gospel type thing, where if you're good, you'll be spared, but if you're bad, you'll be killed by a monster.
Well, and it's- but
to
what-
And
the
then for some
extreme.
reason, that's the thing is that what was even more frightening about it is that it's a 5-year-old child that he never realizes that it's wrong. He continues to feel that he is almost the avenging hand of God.
Right.
He must punish the sinners.
well, and that's what you have here is the breaking out the social studies teacher in me, is that they've taken the ideals of what we would consider to be Puritan theology, because way back in the day it was, well, if you do this, then evil Satan the deluder will take you to hell, or if you do this, then God will punish you in this way. And what they've done is they've just taken that idealism of the early Puritan belief systems and have built it into a modern day mythos of these horror.
Without
villains.
actually even bringing God into
Well,
it.
they don't have to.
don't
Yeah,
ever-
it's
it's
that Puritan idealism is so ingrained within our American society that we don't even have to have you don't have to have the ideal of God being the moral. It doesn't have to be the moral compass. Which is really an interesting thing if you look at it, because, and I don't want to. I know we're going down a rabbit hole here that we didn't really want
it's
to go
fun.
down,
Yeah, it's
but
fun.
which is really interesting way, even unto this day, the way that they make horror movies, being that our society as a whole doesn't see those things really as wrong anymore.
right.
So, but that mythos still stays within the horror genre.
Yeah.
If you're out in the woods making out, you're dead. You know?
I mean, it has gone almost past the religious or God aspect into just the society as a whole aspect. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and doing right, you're spared. But if you are doing wrong, it's almost like societal now than it is religious.
Well,
but like you said, that's why The Strangers is such a eerie movie, is because these people weren't doing anything wrong. They were just home.
Happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. Aaron, are you still there with us?
I'm still here.
Anything to add to that?
No, just listening.
Okay.
So I have one quick question. If you had to be in a horror film, like in the reality of the horror, you had to be transposed to a horror film, what would it be? Since none of you guys have thought about this before, I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to take probably at least 2 of the 3-year-olds' answer. Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I could see
It's
that.
it's at least you'll laugh while you're being murdered by skeletons. You'll have Bruce Campbell there to make you laugh.
Yeah, because I understand what you're saying with that. I wasn't thinking along the lines of Army of Darkness, because I didn't really consider Army of Darkness to be a horror movie. I mean, I know it's
I mean-
it's the Evil Dead, but at the same time, I fit that more into a fantasy. realm.
It's comedy, action comedy,
Yeah.
really. But
I think if I had to be in a horror movie, I think I'd have to go with like one of the. I don't know, man. That's hard because I don't want to be in a horror movie. Horror movies scare me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if it was me when I was a teenager, I would have survived. Because I
Right.
didn't, we just went to
Right.
church and we just, had our Christian
Right.
friends.
Saving yourself.
Nobody's drinking or smoking the reefers. Everybody's,
Yeah.
being pure. We got our little promise rings and we wrote our names down and put them at the altar about how we're going to save ourselves.
Just burn them in the little in the little.
We never
Yeah.
did that.
So,
Never did that.
we did that at college, at Bible college, yeah.
Well,
So, I mean, I could have survived as an adult. Probably still it would be Halloween because I would, be taking care of Michael in the facility.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Scream.
Yeah.
Because I think about younger me probably would have survived Scream for the most part, unless I got on the phone with the one guy's mom and just called him all kinds of names, which caused me to be killed, like Randy did, because I wasn't.
He would have
exact-
been one of Randy's friends at the video store.
Yeah,
He would
yeah.
have worked there at Hollywood Video with Randy.
But now I think of like present day Tim, and like any movie, any horror movie, if there's a jerk, he dies. So I'm dead. It doesn't matter.
First 10 minutes.
First,
Tim's
I mean,
out.
like
No,
I'll be on it for a while because I'll have enough opportunities to make the crowd cheer when I die.
I'll say, yeah, he'll be like the second to last kill. Like, he'll be like the survivor girl and her boyfriend.
and like that, we
then-
think we've survived.
And Tim will be like, just like,
Like,
hanging
we
along.
kicked his butt.
Oh my gosh, I'm
man.
so glad.
Tim
And
will
then
be the
knife
one
goes
that-
through his throat.
Tim would be
Yeah.
the one that trips the girl, gets in the car, and takes off, and he's laughing because he thinks he survived, and the knife would come through the back
Yeah.
of the seat.
Did anybody see the remake of
No.
Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah,
Yes,
Phil Dunphy for
Phil
Yes.
Dunphy.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
you.
that's you.
That's me.
That's definitely
Because, gosh, I am not that bad.
The captain doesn't work with the help.
Yeah, Aaron.
Gremlins.
That's
Gremlins
good.
would actually be pretty good. That's actually
Speaking
pretty
of-
good.
Yeah, I think I could follow the rules and have a pretty cool Mogwai. It'd be cool.
But Tim would have gotten it.
But then you live with
But
your
after-
stupid brother who fed it after midnight. Oh, hey Gizmo, you want some of this popcorn?
Corey Feldman.
Exactly. I'm an idiot.
Oh, Corey Feldman.
John, did you get one?
I passed.
That's
I
right.
don't,
You said you don't want to be.
I don't want to be
in
in a horror movie.
Hellhound, the dog from hell.
Devil Dog, Cujo. I want to be in
Just,
Cujo.
I just don't want to be in Critters. Okay, I just found those pictures this week of the critters up close, and I've had nightmares.
I want to be in the. I want to be one of the survivors in The Stand. That's what I wanted to be. I wouldn't be going to the Walking Man. I
Be
wouldn't
the
be going.
Tommy Knockers.
No, I don't want to be in Tommy Knockers. Not with
Langoliers.
Balky. Be in
Like-
Tommy Knockers with Balky.
Cousin Larry.
No, thank you.
Oh, geez. Well, that was a great question to drop on us, Charlie. Some interesting answers, but just to kind of wrap it up, planning on seeing the Halloween movie when it comes out, Charlie.
Oh.
Obviously,
Opening night, yeah.
Yeah,
John?
Yeah, definitely.
Aaron.
Only if the white horse shows up and Pete.
Aaron, you're not really a scary movie watcher, right?
No, I'm sure I'll read about it on Wikipedia. That's what I do. Is I just read the plots. So.
And I'll try to watch it. you know.
It turned me into a genre fan.
Yeah, so I'm down for it if I still have friends by then. But we're glad you joined us tonight. Glad you listened along. We don't have full details for next week, but we do have Jurassic World dropping here, and I think this upcoming week, or it might have been this past week actually when this comes out. So maybe we'll do some dinosaur talking, find out who everybody's favorite dinosaurs are. Or something silly like that, but also just talk about those movies, or we'll see what else comes up. But thanks for joining us. Charlie, where can they find us?
iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play. Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Facebook.
Yeah.
And
Also,
Podomatic.
Podmatic. Yeah.
and also check out Charlie's got another podcast with him and his sister talking about crappy TV shows. Caught the first one. It's great banter back and forth about just TV. So thanks for listening, everybody. And sorry, Brent.
Mike Myers will return in Austin Powers in Rear Innuendo.